What's up, everybody? This is another episode of Sports-REUBEN-LIFE. Now, here's an interesting thing about NFL football Week 16, right? Week 16 has some really interesting games, right? Now, I'm just going to cover these very briefly, but these are games to watch. On the Saturday, you have the Bills versus the Patriots. How long has it been since the Bills, 10-4, are playing the 11-3 Patriots? If the Bills win, they split the season series. They're both 11-4. Very interesting. It's very rare that this has been happening. So whatever they're doing in Buffalo, they're doing it right? And so you have Tom Brady and company. They're playing at Foxborough. It's going to be very difficult to beat them, right? Patriots are favored by 6.5 points. This is essentially a touchdown, right? And the over-under is 37.5 points, which means that maybe Tom Brady doesn't play too much. One of the ramifications of this is home field advantage throughout the playoffs, right? So pretty much the Patriots, if they don't win this game, they're not going to get it. Now, Baltimore is in the driver's seat because they beat the Patriots head-to-head. Now, here's the interesting thing. The Bills and the Patriots, they're going to have the same record. So if Baltimore loses, then they still have a chance, right? So that's still up for grabs. This is also what's up for grabs is there's a difference between you have to play in the first round and you get to sit out the first round, right? Tom Brady needs that first round bye to rest. He's 42 years old, right? So let's not be disingenuous and say that his age is not a factor. It definitely is, right? And we need to get him some rest, right? Next game on Saturday, very interesting game, right? Because there's 3 games on Saturday. You got the Texans, Buccaneers. That really doesn't have a huge impact except that Jameis Winston and company, and I talked about this, he needs to show good at the end of the season so they can keep him. The Rams and 49ers, huge, right? The Rams still have a chance to make the playoffs. Very slim. They lose this game, they're not in, just plain and simply, right? They're 8-6 right now. They 10-6 might not still get them into the playoffs, but the 49ers are trying to get a bye in the first round, right? See, that division is so competitive, right? The competitive nature of what is this? The NFC West. You got Seattle 11-3 in first place, San Francisco 11-3 in second place. The Rams are 8-6 in third place, right? And so Seattle, in their last 2 games, who are they playing? They're playing the Cardinals, and they play the 49ers at the end, right? So that could be for all the marbles. That could be who has to play in the first round and who gets home field advantage throughout the playoffs. Although the Saints are 11-3 as well. Drew Brees and company, he's a 40-year-old quarterback, is, almost tops in the division, right? But then you have the 11-3 Green Bay Packers. All those guys, somebody needs, if anybody, right? You need the New Orleans Saints to get the first week bye, but they're in the 3rd position, right? Green Bay Packers and Aaron Rodgers, they need a first round bye, right? Those are 2 old, leathery quarterbacks that need some rest, right? It will do them the best if they want to make it to the Super Bowl, right? So that's what's interesting about this whole NFL Week 16 preview, right? Is that's an interesting dynamic where all these teams have to win. The Green Bay Packers, they play the Minnesota Vikings. Those are must wins for both teams. If Minnesota falls into the 3rd position, if Green Bay falls into the 3rd position, then Aaron Rodgers is not going to get the rest. And these old guys need the rest. Why? They're going to play better if they get 2 weeks, essentially 3 weeks off, right? Because if they can secure home field advantage and the bye, or just the bye, they can rest in the last game, right? But everybody at that point, Seattle, Green Bay, New Orleans, Dallas, San Francisco, Minnesota, Los Angeles, they're all winning. And so nobody's kind of letting up. There's no cruise control, right? On the AFC, it's a little bit different, but let's keep on talking about the schedule, right? And so that San Francisco 49ers versus Los Angeles Rams game is going to be very important, right? Very important for both of those teams to win. The Rams lose, they're out of the playoffs, right? And the 49ers go to 12-3, and they're in the driver's seat to possibly win that division, right? The last game of the season, they're going to play Seattle for the division. Now, if Seattle has to win, of course, right? We're going to assume that they're going to win because I think they're playing the Arizona Cardinals, right? So that's Saturday's game. Sunday's game, you have the Ravens and the Browns. I like the Browns, but I think these are efforts. So the Ravens need to keep on winning and keep that momentum going, right? Because they're going to get the first round bye, and they're going to get home field advantage throughout the playoffs. So that's an interesting, important game for Lamar Jackson and company. His MVP type audition for this game needs to happen. It's going to be, it's going to be a Sunday 10 o'clock game, right? Baker Mayfield needs to show that he's still the leader, and he needs to make sure that he throws the ball a ton to Odell Beckham Jr. and Jarvis Landry. We just need to have a shootout with this game. The over-under is 47.5 points, and I think that's because of the fact that Lamar Jackson has been difficult to contain and stop, and the Cleveland Browns, still suffering from that guy, we won't even mention his name, hitting that other guy in the helmet with his helmet, hitting the other guy in the head with the helmet him not being there had an effect. It had a definite effect on the Cleveland Browns. Now that we see that it did, we were hoping it wouldn't, but a guy of that stature did derail this season for the Cleveland Browns. They could have easily been 8-6 and on their way. The Saints, they're playing a very good 8-6 Tennessee Titans, right? You have Drew Brees and company playing who? You have Ryan Tannehill. Ryan Tannehill, he has a future in the NFL. Everybody thought he was done in Miami. Everybody said he's not good. He's not it. He's not out. You know, he doesn't got it, right? He got it. He's got it, right? So then, you know, that's going to be a very interesting game, right? That's another 10 o'clock game, right, on Sunday, right? Then you have the Panthers and Colts. Okay. You have the Bengals and Dolphins. Right? 1-13 versus 3-11. Okay. These are auditions for you to keep your job next year. Offensive coordinators, you're probably gone. Defensive coordinators, you're probably gone. Head coaches, you might be gone, right? Steelers and Jets, right? The 5-9 Sam Darnold New York Jets, right? Playing the Steelers 8-6, right? That's going to be a very interesting game. That's going to be, you know, a challenge, right? These guys, even though the Jets are 5-9, they're playing good, right? Le'Veon Bell, where are you at? You signed and waited out and held out. You had a lackluster year, partly because your quarterback got hurt. And that goes to show you how every single player is intertwined, interconnected with each other. You can't just be great on your own in the sport of football, right? So, moving on, right? You have the Lions and the Broncos, Raiders and Chargers, moving on. Let's go Cowboys and Eagles. That's for first place in the division. The loser goes home. There's no playoffs for that person. You don't have enough wins to make it to the wild card. The wild card's like 11 wins. You maybe get in, right? It's top heavy. This year in the NFL, it's top heavy, right? In other words, there's a lot of 1-13, you know, there's a lot of losing teams, right? So that game is going to be very interesting. They're playing it in Philly. Dak Prescott, you need to score 50 points in this, okay? You need to have 5 touchdowns or 4 touchdowns and 2 rushing touchdowns by Ezekiel Elliott. Ezekiel Elliott, you had a pedestrian 11. You're having a pedestrian year because why? You're great. Ezekiel Elliott, you should have 1,700 yards by now. You have 1,180 yards. Everybody says, well, Reuben, you know, he's 1,188. I stand corrected, and 11 touchdowns, right? He's a good running back. However, he needs to be better. He needs to be greater. He has the ability to be a superstar 2,000-yard runner. They have a potent offense, right? Jason Garrett probably is going to have to go. If they don't make the playoffs, he's going to go. If they make the playoffs and lose in the first round, he's going to go. If the only way that Jason Garrett stays if they win the Super Bowl, which is highly unlikely. Possible, highly unlikely, right? That's the only way I think Jason Garrett's going to stay another year. His number is called. They need something fresh in there. They need a new perspective on this high potent offense that they have in Ezekiel Elliott, Dak Prescott, and Amari Cooper. That's not going to be there forever. They need to make something happen with that, right? Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith, Michael Irvin. Okay, get it done, Dallas. You have the formula now, right? You need to get you got a good offense. You need to have a good plan, strategy, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator. We need to get new eyeballs on that whole situation and make it happen. Next game, Seattle Seahawks, 11-3 versus 4-9 Cardinals, right? You say to yourself, Reuben, what does it matter this whole game? Look it, Seattle needs to keep winning. They're in that dogfight. They need to win so they can play for the championship, for home field advantage and all the marbles in the last week of the season against the 49ers. They need to get there. They got to get through the 4-9 Kyler Murray rookie, Cardinals. They can do it. They're supposed to do it. They should do it. 10-10. Moving on. 10-4 Chiefs play the 7-7 Bears. That's going to be a good game. I like the Bears. I think the Bears are going to come out victory in this game, and they're going to beat the Chiefs, right? So let's look at the playoff standings, right? Let's look at how this impacts them, right? So clicking onto that, right? What are we seeing here, right? The Chiefs, right, are in the playoffs in the number 3 spot, right? They're not going to lose their division. Are they going to try to win this game? Of course, because they're trying to win, right? But when you look at the situation of it, right, if they don't win, they're still okay. They're not going to get home field advantage throughout the playoffs. That's not going to happen. So they just need to play and nobody get hurt. Patrick Mahomes, stay healthy. Don't play the fourth quarter. Throw your 5 touchdowns in the first 3 quarters like you did last year, and everybody slowed you down. But they got the book on you now. Happens to everybody. Don't be surprised. Now, the Monday night game, which is a very interesting game, very impactful game, and everybody's going to play. You're going to play at Minnesota, the U.S. Bank Stadium. Minnesota 10-4 play the 11-3 Green Bay Packers. Who's winning this game? Aaron Rodgers, 50 years old. Kirk Cousins, right? He's like the stepchild of quarterbacks in the NFL. Nobody likes him, but he keeps winning. They're both going to make the playoffs. if they win. Minnesota, if they get the victory, they're in. If they don't, it's still a chance for the Los Angeles Rams to do something. So that being said, we got to get that victory, Minnesota. Kirk Cousins, you got to show up to play. You're playing at home, right? You have a good record. Washington Redskins are like, dang, we missed again. Story of their franchise life, right? They can't save themselves. They're 3-11. Kirk Cousins is 10-4, right? Everybody says, oh, well, it's not because, yeah, this is what I'm talking about when I talk about Jameis Winston. Look at my other videos on YouTube, and I talk about this. This is going on Facebook, right? Or YouTube, I should say this is going on YouTube. So anyways, like, subscribe, tell me what you guys think about this, and have a good day. Thanks, bye.